Hey everybody, it's DM Chris with my first long form video. Please stick around to the end. We've got some special announcements. But I'm here to tell you about a time I ran a game where one player murdered the rest of the group and I had to retcon the entire session into a dream sequence. This video idea came from Fairchild Wrestling 13 on my very first short on this channel. So if you would like to see your ideas translated into a video, comment down below and let me know what kind of content you want to see. Thanks for sticking around. So even though my intention for this channel is to focus on Dungeons and Dragons, I do play other tabletop games, and I have for years. In fact, I've played so many systems that it's probably easier to tell you what I haven't played. I'm one of those kinds. I get ADD and I just want to mix it up. You know what I mean? And my players are very much the same way and always have been as well. But for the background of this story, I need to tell you a little bit about Vampire the Masquerade. Now, if you're here for D&D content and you're like, oh man, I don't know what's going on here, this is still kind of an important lesson because it's really more about like, how do you manage surprising situations at a table, or how do you manage player expectations when things go a little sideways, right? So the game isn't necessarily the important part here. But to set things up and explain why things happen the way that they are, I am going to give a little bit of background and context into Vampire the Masquerade. So, Vampire the Masquerade is set in the world of darkness, which is like a modern day setting, but they're supernatural beings. Obviously, the game is called Vampires, so there's vampires in it. We had an entire party. Everybody in it was a vampire, and one of them was from a clan called Tremere. So Tremere is kind of a fun clan in the world building of the world of darkness, where in like the Middle Ages, they were actually all mages. They were all wizards. They had magical power, and they actually wanted to do a ritual to become immortal. And in doing that ritual, they actually became vampires. Kind of like an oopsie daisy, be careful what you wish for kind of lesson there. And the way that they went about it made pretty much everybody else in the world of vampire kind of hate them, right? They actually like killed a really important vampire to steal his power. It's a whole mess, right? The point is, Tremere, one specific clan, everybody hates them. And kind of built on the back of that, they developed their own sort of like internal rituals where they do what they call the blood binding, or they become blood bound to each other. Not going to get too far off into the weeds on what that is, how that works, anything like that. If you're interested, we can go deeper in that topic. Comment down below. Let me know what you want to hear about. But oops, it sucks to suck blood. Now you're immortal as a vampire. So my player decided that he wanted to play a Tremere, and because of their backstory, he is really, really kind of like brainwashed, right? He's basically in a cult on top of being a vampire, right? Being a member of the Tremere is basically like being part of a cult. And so I thought, I want to give interesting moral dilemmas to my players. I want to give them interesting choices that they may have to make that we could see play out at the table. Because Vampire is that kind of game. You get a little messy and emotional with it. It's not just, kick down the door and kill the orc, right? You have things in play that people care about, and you role play out how much you care about it, which is fun most of the time. But here's an example of where it might not be as fun. So I presented this player with a secret message, and this was a thing that I did with Vampire to keep player DM communication secret in case we were talking about something that they didn't want revealed to the broader group. And I slip them a note and I say, hey, your handlers with the Tremere actually like greenlit all your other friends because of things that they were doing, things that they had done actually together. But they weren't trying to kill the character, they wanted to kill the rest of the party. And in my thought, once again, right, we're creating like an ethical dilemma. We're creating this whole thing where now we have one character who might be going rogue compared to the party, or how does he show his loyalty to his friends group, and then kind of distance himself from this, really important but overbearing cult that he happens to be a part of. So I'm expecting like multiple sessions of like hemming and hawing and this, that, and going back and forth. And Vampire can get diabolical. Let me tell you, it can get diabolical. So smash cut. This player passes me back a note, and he says, I want to make as much Semtex as my chemistry skill will allow me to. Now, I've just said this on a YouTube video, so I'm on a list. Subscribe if you want to see me move to El Salvador. But so Vampire is one of those games too, where you have different skills in like sciences and things like that. And, you might have somebody who is in fact an organic chemist, and this guy, he was. So he makes a bunch of not so silly putty, and he passes me another note, and he says, I want to plant a bomb in our hangout, our hideout, right? Like the chill spot where the party normally vibes and maxes out, right? So I have him make another secret roll. He gets a bunch of successes because this player never fails a roll, like ever, right? Suspicion number 1, but he makes a bunch of the bad stuff and he puts it in the bad place. I'm a very lenient and forgiving DM. He hasn't gone too far yet. I'm waiting for like some sort of dramatic roleplay moment to pop off at any moment. And so he calls up all the other characters and he says, hey, stuff is going down. You got to meet me at the chill spot. They all go there. He's not there. He makes the other phone call to the other thing that is in the chill spot, and he sends the entire team to low Earth orbit. So hey, rest of the table, bad news. You don't get to play anymore. And it's probably my fault, but it's also definitely his fault. So, you have to take accountability as a DM for this. It's my job to narrate things, right? So, when I'm describing the situation of the bomb going off, people basically went through all of the stages of grief, right? They thought, oh, well, this is part of the game. Maybe I can do something to mitigate the damage. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like you are in the middle of a terrorist activity. Like this is not a combat check. You're not going to survive this. And they thought maybe there was going to be some other narrative part for them to get involved in, but eventually they realized that they couldn't negotiate. They got really upset. And now it's my job as sort of like the referee of the table of the group to kind of bring everybody back together and help them figure out what we're going to do moving forward. So I just told everybody, hey, guess what? We're going to call tonight. Good. Session's over. You want to hang out? We can hang out, but the game is done for the day. And next time when we pick up, we're gonna start where this night's session started as well. We're basically just gonna pretend this never happened. And the player the Tremere player, he didn't even push back. He was like, "Yeah, I see exactly what I did. I'm not taking accountability for it." I'm pretty sure a direct quote. But he said, no, I understand where everybody's coming from. Let's just go ahead and pretend like this never happened. And we all said, okay, cool. And that game continued to run for another few sessions. But the next session I did start things off with kind of like an afterlife type thing and an explanation on how the supernatural entities that exist within the world of darkness smiled on you this day and put you back, maybe a couple days before, right? So if you like RPG session story times like this, please like this video. Please subscribe to help support this channel. We do appreciate it. If you want sort of like a too long didn't read version of this story, I thought that I was challenging a player by pitting his origin story against the other PCs, and that player chose violence. As DM of this event, I took it upon myself to completely retcon the game session, turn it into like a nightmare or an afterlife type thing, and then just restart the next time so that the campaign didn't get completely derailed. So despite this story, once again, being primarily about Vampire the Masquerade, hopefully you could pick up on some of the tips that are, true across the board of any sort of tabletop role-playing game. And especially since this channel wants to focus on Dungeons & Dragons, maybe you can use this as some advice for when you are mastering a dungeon of your own. If you have any further questions, comments, considerations, please drop them in below and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.